Linda Willow Roberts with another episode of How to Manifest, another magical manifesting conversation. And today I'm talking with Mark Anthony. He's an international teacher and speaker and founder of Co-Creation, one of the world's leading theta healing organisations. He's a teacher and a speaker and he's been in over 20 countries. So I'd like you to welcome Mark. Hi Mark, how are you?
I'm very good, thanks, Linda. How are you?
Oh, good. Thank you for joining me. I really was excited to talk to you. So you really are the head person in Australia for theta healing, aren't you?
Yeah, I've been doing this for a while. It's been an incredible journey. So, yeah.
Well, I'm talking to different spiritual leaders all around the world with all different modalities, and we're talking about how to manifest. So I know a little bit about your story. So what I wanted to ask you is, most of us spiritual teachers and speakers and leaders around the world have come from challenging beginnings to step into our spiritual world. So what got you onto your spiritual path? What was the challenge that you were having?
Oh, that was a really interesting journey that I created for myself. It's I was just feeling run down. I went and saw a chiropractor who broke 2 ribs and a vertebrae. And from that point, the vertebrae got infected. I ended up with a condition called vertebral osteomyelitis, which is medically incurable. And when it got to the point that the doctors turned to me and said, "Look, Mark, there's nothing more that we can do for you. You need to go home and hope for the best," then that was quite a confronting experience, especially being brought up in a family that always believed in the medical industry, and we always have had a lot of faith in the medical industry. So it was really devastating to hear that. And the neurosurgeon also told me that if I'd pick up a shopping bag, it would collapse my spine. And coming from a background where I've played sports all my life, I'm an engineer by profession, and I had my own business in the construction industry. To hear those words, it was just truly devastating, and that really propelled me on my spiritual path. And that's where I came across theta healing, and that's where I was able to transform my life with, in just a few days.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? Most people that are on this spiritual journey, like I said, have had something that propels them in that area. So how did you? So that was a shock for starters. You couldn't even lift up a grocery bag, and being active and being an engineer and having an analytical mind, sometimes with spiritual world, it's really hard to balance, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially coming from a Catholic background as well. I was brought up very Catholic. In total honesty, I was one of the biggest skeptics of spiritual work, and it was just such a transformation.
So you found theta. So how did you find theta? So obviously you were looking for something alternative that could help you. So how did that process come around?
Well, it was really funny because I went and saw my naturopath who was like, once I'd come out of hospital and doctors said they couldn't help me, I started turning to whoever I could, and I went and saw my naturopath, and she gave me this book and said, "This is a course I did a few years ago. There might be something in it for you." And it was really profound because that evening, it was a Sunday, I went home and I started reading this book, and it was just absolutely profound. It was a few pages into it, I got that feeling, and everybody's had it, but you get that feeling when you just think, whatever this is it. And I just knew there was something in it. And I jumped online, I looked up Vianna Stibel, who is the founder of Theta Healing. I found her website, and in total honesty, I was actually looking for a DVD so I wouldn't have to read the whole book. But unfortunately, back in those days, there weren't any DVDs. And so I found a link to her what was it called? It's well before Facebook. It was a Yahoo group.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, so she had a Yahoo group, and the next morning, Monday morning, I get all these emails from this Yahoo group, and there's actually somebody in Australia. And so Monday I tried ringing them, they didn't
Yep.
answer. Tuesday they actually called me back, and we organised a consultation for the Thursday. Thursday, half the pain in my back disappeared, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I took a theta healing class. And at the end of that weekend, my daughter came running up to me. My wife and my daughter came to pick me up. My daughter was 2 years old at the time, and she said, "Daddy, Daddy, carry me." And my wife is freaking out, like, "No, he can't." But I knew I could. You know your own body. You know when there's pain. You know when there's something wrong. But I knew my body was healed. It was just amazing.
Yeah, that's so cool. I just absolutely love theta healing. So, so that put you on the path of healing, because that's always the first. Every time we start any spiritual development or manifesting, there's always got to be the healing, the purging, the letting go, making room for more, isn't there? So, what was the next step that you took? So, did that give you a drive? Because all of a sudden everything's opened up to you, a whole new world. And sometimes, you know, realizing that there's something bigger than us, just again propels us again to learn more things. So where did you go from there?
Yeah, absolutely. It was just incredible. Look, to be totally honest with you, I just wanted to share what I'd received, because I know the state that I was in, and then all of a sudden, you know, how I'd transformed my life. I just wanted people to experience that. I wanted to share that. I wanted people to know how easy it is to transform your circumstances. And to be totally honest with you, I just organised the teacher that taught me to come into a couple of classes in Sydney. He was from Melbourne, and I was just promoting him. And about a month later, Vienna was coming to Australia to do the instructors classes, and that's all she teaches. She doesn't teach the practitioner classes anymore. And and I remember sitting in class, and she said, 80% of you will go on and teach this work. And I was so relieved, because I thought, thank God I'm in the 20%. I had absolutely no intention of becoming a spiritual teacher or healer or anything along those lines. I just thought
Yeah.
I'd go back into the construction industry or engineering.
You can't go back once you've found the path.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I was trying to avoid it as long as I could, and it probably took about maybe 6 months. And I was doing a class, and I remember it's a 3-week class that we're doing theta healing called Intuitive Anatomy, and it is really transformational. It will change your life. It's such an incredible class. And halfway through that class, I remember ringing my wife and telling her, "Babe, I'm going to teach a class." It was just such an incredible experience. And then I taught my first class, and I realized that this is what I'm meant to be doing. Like this really was my path. And so I really did try and avoid it as much as I
Yeah.
could. But once I had that experience, it was just incredible. And I'm
Yeah.
just so passionate about teaching and sharing this work with other people.
Yeah, true. It is nice because we can only teach from our life experience and what we learn. And I sort of often say to my students, learn from as many people as possible, because it takes you out of the limiting thinking. And that's what I
Yeah.
like about the theta healing. So how many years have you been not going to do it now for?
15 years.
Yeah, isn't it funny? Like when spirit points you in the direction, you've got Buckley's to do anything different, really. Like things, if you
Yeah.
try and get off the spiritual path, things just don't flow, and then you hop back on, and it's just takes you wherever it needs to take you. So,
Absolutely.
so when you're manifesting something, theta is the, I don't even know how to say it. That's the pinnacle point. I think that was the glue that got everything together for me and took me out of thinking linear. So how do you manifest now? So if you're wanting to manifest, what is it that you do as a practice to help you manifest?
Yeah, I do have a bit of a process. Obviously, like using the theta brainwave. I mean, scientifically, it's been shown as such a powerful brainwave. There's Stanford University studies that show that when musicians get into the zone, they've actually measured their brainwaves, and they're actually going into a theta brainwave. So the theta brainwave allows you to step out of your consciousness, and it allows you to step into that creativity of all that is, I guess. And when you're manifesting from that space, it really supercharges your manifestations. But I still have a very conventional approach to manifesting. So I write down everything that I like to manifest, because the truth is, throughout our lives at school, we're always taught that everything that was a truth was in a book. And so when you write down your goals, when you write down your intentions, your subconscious looks at it and it sees that as a truth. And the other thing that I do is I actually, when I write my intentions, I always write them in the present tense. So I already have it. So I am, I have. And that
Yeah.
is really important, because when your subconscious is looking at that, it's realizing that it's present tense. You already have it. And so it supercharges it again. The other thing that I do, which is probably one of the most, well, everything's profound in this process, I believe, but one of the key things is I always make a list of why I'm manifesting what I'm manifesting.
Now that's
Because
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. So why specifically? What do you put down? Why you're doing it? A lot of the time, I do it because I place myself in service. So I just live in synchronicity. So I get spirit sends me wherever they need me. So what sort of things would you say to why you're manifesting?
Well, a lot of the reasons that you write down things. So, say for example, you wanted to manifest, a Ferrari, right? From a spiritual perspective, it really is meaningless,
Can we
right?
just change
But
that?
from an
Maybe a
unconscious
Mustang
perspective,
first.
sorry.
Maybe a Mustang first. Sorry, Mark, go on.
Yeah. So from a spiritual perspective, it really doesn't have a lot of meaning, because a car's a car. It gets you from where you need to get to. But when you go through and identify the reasons why it's important to you, you can actually identify that a lot of the reasons will probably come down to allowing yourself to be a positive influence in other people's lives. So if you have that, then there's going to be other people that are going to get inspired by you having that, and allowing yourself to be an inspiration for other people just shows them that it's possible. If somebody can have it, then they can have it too. And that's one of the keys when it comes to manifesting, because a lot of people have these old programs of thinking that, if you're spiritual, you have to struggle, you have to be poor, or
No,
you've got to be poor to be closer to God. Like, that's a really common underlying theme with a lot of spiritual people. And
it is.
it's so damaging for them, because
Yep.
they're really stopping themselves from really making the difference that they've come here to make. See,
Correct.
I truly believe that the more of us that are successful and we create success, the bigger the difference that we can make on this planet. And that's what we're all here for. But
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, I know. Like I've often said to people, like they said that you have to go through this enormous, painful thing to do releasing, and I went, no, you don't. That's old conditioning. That's an old process. You can make it as easy as you want to be, and you just lead by example and share your stories as you're going along, because it really, if I can do this, then other people can do this.
yeah,
And
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. And
yeah,
the other thing, the important thing that the whys actually give you is you actually start to realize what's truly important to you. So, for example, if we're manifesting the Ferrari, and you go through and you list all the reasons why, and all the reasons why are really superficial, and it's because you want to keep up with your neighbors or something like that, you're going to find that's not going to motivate you. And the other thing that I've found is, oftentimes, like a lot of our manifestations are ours because somebody else wants that for us. And as long as somebody else wants it for you and you don't want it for yourself, then you're going to struggle with that manifestation. And everything that you do in taking action towards achieving it is going to be painful. It's going to be difficult. And that's where you find a lot of blocks, a lot of obstacles coming up in your way, because the truth is, it doesn't inspire you. It's not something that you truly desire. And so the
yeah.
whys are really important.
It's got to
And
be
then
soulful.
the next, yeah, sorry,
It's got to be soulful. It's got to be,
yeah,
something that lights your soul up. It's all about getting the feeling that you want, not the thing, isn't it? It's about what is it that
yeah.
you want to feel like.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So it's so important that it comes from inside us, and whatever we're manifesting in our lives, it drives us, because when you manifest something and it's truly important to you, you don't need to be motivated. You don't need to push yourself to take action. You find that taking action in it is actually really simple, because the manifestation itself is the motivation.
Yeah. It
Mm.
just flows, doesn't it? When you're
Oh,
doing,
absolutely.
when you're on your path and you're doing what you're supposed to do, your life purpose, it just flows and it's easy. And it's so much nicer and so much with ease. Yes, you have to take action, but it's
Yeah.
an easy action, isn't it? It's like the path of least resistance. That's what I call it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, the next step in my manifesting is taking action. So I write down action steps on a daily basis, things that I need to do, things that need to get done. So when I write my intentions, I have like short term, I have medium term, and I have long term. So I'm looking at manifesting for the next 30 years. Like, how would I like my life to be? And then you break it down to long term, medium term, and short term, and then you take the action. And it's so important to take the action, because action enables reception. When you begin taking action, you allow yourself to receive. The universe sees that you are serious about achieving that intention, and so the universe starts helping you. And so many times, and you speak to any person who's created success in their lives, they will tell you that how their manifestation came to fruition is completely different to how they thought it was going to be. And that's how the universe works for us, because when we start on this path, the universe changes our focus and puts us on this path, which is a new opportunity that will allow us to create that intention so much quicker and so much easier. But as long as we're believing that we have to have the design, we have to have the plan of how it's going to come together, that's when we put the brakes on. That's where we, you know, stop the universe from supporting us and
Yeah.
helping us in achieving.
That holds us back. Even at times where I've been manifesting and things have been a little bit still, and I'm a Leo and I don't have that a really good patience level, but I've actually created momentum. I started walking and I started doing things. I started going to places that I don't normally go to, so that I'm actually trying to create that momentum energy and seeing things, new things, and so you can actually
Yeah.
propel that a little bit too, can't you?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And like what you've just mentioned is a really, really important thing for people in their lives, because so many people have stress about change. And as long as you're stressed about change, then you're going to block great things happening for you, because the truth is, without change, everything stays the same. And so, going to different places, doing different things, like driving home from work a different way, going to a different coffee shop, trying a different meal at lunchtime, doing little things like that gets your mind accustomed to change. And then when you allow, or when you allow your manifestations to come into your life, the change takes place, and you're not pushing the change away. And that's
Yeah.
really important, because when you embrace change, you allow so much more success, and you allow yourself to take the opportunities that are constantly being presented in front of you.
Oh, of course. And see, the only time the change affects you is when when you resist it, and then it becomes a little bit uncomfortable. So, Mark, could
Yeah,
I ask
absolutely.
you for a download for everybody about change before we move on? Would that be all right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So guys out there listening, if I'll go up into a theta state, and I'll set it up so that anybody who says yes, they receive the download. So so would you like to know what it feels like to embrace change? What it feels like to be comfortable with change, and to know that it's safe for you to allow change into your life, to allow positive change, and that you know that it's safe and possible for the Creator to deliver new opportunities for you, and that you're able to have the confidence to take advantage of those opportunities, and you're able to allow yourself to be successful, and that you allow yourself to receive the abundance that the universe has for you. So if you're happy to receive those, just say yes.
Yes, thank you, Mark.
But one other thing that I wanted to tell you about my manifesting, which is a really
Yes.
key component, is is having gratitude.
Yes.
And there's two parts to it. So the first part is having gratitude for what's in your life right now. When you walk into your home and you're opening your front door and you're thinking, I hate this damn place, the universe is thinking, well, hang on a minute, you don't appreciate the one you've got now. How are you going to appreciate the new one? So maybe you need to stay there a bit longer. So what happens is when we have gratitude for the house that we live in, it may not be perfect for us, and it may, feel like it's a limitation to us. But when we have gratitude for it, then all of a sudden what happens is the universe sees that we're having gratitude, and all of a sudden the universe will give you more. So I have gratitude for what's in my life right now on a daily basis. And I also have gratitude, express gratitude for my manifestation. So whatever I'm manifesting, I express gratitude for receiving it. And so the subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's real or imagined. And what happens is it actually goes about creating that for you, because it thinks, hang on, he's saying thank you for this. He's expressing gratitude. It must be already here. We better get to work. And anybody who doesn't believe that the subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's real and imagined, just think about the last time you watched a horror movie, and tell me if you weren't looking over the lounge to see if something was going to jump out from behind there, or your heart wasn't beating 5 times faster than what it normally does.
Yeah.
So that's how the subconscious works.
It does, doesn't it? It's I put on a vision board once, because writing and vision boards, I'm totally up with that. I put on a vision board once. All I want is everything, and somebody came in and said, "What did you do that for?" And I went, "Well, I'm not limiting myself. I'm putting it up to spirit. All I want is everything, and they'll supply what's for my highest good." And they just looked at me, but it's it's turned out for me really well this half of my life. And I absolutely love the theta state. That's my favourite state. So if you had somebody coming to you, and so you've done the writing, you've done the action, you've done the gratitude, then do you let it go? Because that's what I do next. Is that something that's in your process?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But, like letting go is really important, because when you let go and you detach from it, then that's showing that you have an incredible level of faith that it's going to be yours. And faith is one of the keys. One of my favorite all-time books is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And, faith is a key component of that. What the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And so when you let go, then what you're doing is you're telling the universe that I know this is mine. And so all of a sudden it shifts your energy. You raise your consciousness to a state of already having, and that allows it into your life. But here's the simple truth, right? We're all in human bodies. We've all got belief systems that we're working on clearing. All of us are a work in progress. So what happens is we manifest something and we can't get it out of our mind. So when that happens, what I do is, if it's going to be in my mind, I make sure it is a clear vision of what it is that I'm choosing to have. If you can't let it go, if you can't just allow yourself to switch off from it, then make sure when you are thinking about it, it is really clear and really focused on what you actually do desire.
Yeah, yeah. That's a key point. That's probably something that I don't do. I probably have sort of tried to let it go, and then sort of got out of my head and back into my heart. But to have a clear vision, that would be really helpful. Yes, a visualization of what it is that you want would be helpful, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's just like your GPS in your car. You type in an address, it gives you options of how to get there. And as long as you've got a destination, you can get there. There's so many possibilities. There's so many hows that you can take to actually arrive at that destination. But if you don't have the destination, then the universe is like, well, you're not really serious about anything. Well, you know, we
Yeah, true,
we can just
true.
keep spinning the wheels here.
Yeah, that's
But
exactly right. No, you're
yeah,
right. I've not thought about it like that before. So thank you. You've given me something else to think about. And that's the benefit of
pleasure.
talking to everybody with different modalities, is because,
Yeah,
we're all unique. And, what,
yeah,
what works for one person could quite possibly work for a lot of different people. So in your
yeah.
classes, when somebody's coming to you and they're wanting to manifest, um, there's the stages through the theta courses. What's the first couple that they need to do theta healing?
As in classes, you mean, or manifesting?
Maybe manifesting first.
Manifesting, yeah. So basically, with the manifesting, it's really about visualizing what you desire and being really clear on what you are manifesting in your life, what you're choosing to have. And one of the really powerful tools that we use in theta healing is we get people to visualize their manifestation, and you go through the positives, like asking them to describe it, asking them in detail to explain the manifestation. So if it's in your house, they're manifesting, then you're getting them to walk through the house and describe everything that is there. And the more detail you put into it, then it allows that person to really step into the energy of it. And that's where you identify your blocks, because the truth is, if you are in alignment with your manifestation right now, then you'd already have it. So the fact that you don't have it in your life right now means there's a belief system or an issue that you need to deal with or resolve in order to raise your vibration to that level. Because it's the truth of how manifesting works.
Yeah,
When
it
you
is.
raise your vibration to the level of your
Yeah,
manifestation, it automatically shows up in your life. And
true.
that's really about clearing your blocks and raising your level of faith to that point. So with theta healing, it's about, visualizing your manifestation and seeing what discomfort comes up,
Yeah.
because they're the things that are going to stop you from having it.
True. Look, I'm 55, Mark, and I've been working on myself for 30 years, and I still think every now and again, oh, really? Another bit to the piece, to the puzzle to
Yeah,
sort of come off. But it's what you need to do, isn't it? It is about clearing the way and clearing all
yeah,
those blocks and old conditionings. So,
absolutely.
if somebody was watching and they want to go into a theta healing brainwave, what
Yeah.
course do they need to do with you to learn how to do that?
It's just the basic class. The basic class is a 3-day workshop that runs you through the basics of the technique. So it teaches you how to access a theta brain. Well, you're already doing it anyway. Like, it's a natural brain state. So we're constantly in and out of a brain state, but it just shows you how to do it consciously. So, and then we learn how to change beliefs, how to teach feelings. It's a practitioner certified class, so it actually allows you to, and we do a lot of practice of it during the class, but how to work on other people, how to work on yourself. So knowing how to identify what belief systems to change, and the belief systems that are holding you back from having a certain thing in your life, in all areas of your life. And we do like other exercises to help you with your intuition as well, like angel readings, future readings. We obviously do the manifesting as well. We also do the DNA activation, which is activating your youth and vitality chromosomes, which more or less
I
allows you to grow
really like.
younger.
I really like that one. That was one of my favourites. Yeah,
Yeah, it's really profound. It's really
yeah,
cool.
it is. Isn't it? It's like little lightning bolts going off. But
Yeah.
that's what it felt like. So where can people find you, Mark?
On my website, which is www.thetahealing.net.au,
Yep.
net.au. And
Thank you.
and I'm really excited because we've just launched our new website, so it's up
Nice.
and running. So my previous website was state of the art for 2006,
Yeah,
but we've brought that up to date now. So
that's great. So everybody can go and find you. And Mark, thank you very much for coming on. Time goes so quickly. I could talk to you for hours about theta healing and
yeah,
manifesting. But thanks very much for coming on.
it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, and I hope, for you people out there, just know that you are amazing and that you can achieve anything that you desire. It's just about having the right information, the right tools to
Yeah.
get you to where you desire. And you know, look, I look forward to catching up with everybody along the way somewhere. Thank you.
Perfectly said. Thanks.